Alright everybody, today I want to do a small review on my Arken SH4. It's a second generation scope. I don't have the first one, but I bought this while they were still $400, and I wanted to do a quick review just for the fact that I haven't actually put it on a rifle yet and I haven't tested it. But I wanted to give my initial thoughts because I wanted to see, playing with it, just how everything felt, how it sounded, how smooth certain things were, the reticle clarity, and just, I guess, my thoughts, because I have a couple nice Vortex scopes, I would say. I have a PST Gen 2 from Vortex, and then I have a Strike Eagle also that I'd like to eventually do some comparisons with this versus those side by side, because those are over twice as much as this thing is. So just giving my initial thoughts, I guess, on this scope. I'll show you what it all comes with first. It comes with the bikini scope covers. I haven't measured it, but I think it's a 3-inch sunshade. I bought the precision pack, so it came with this throw lever. And here's the box. It comes really nicely packaged. I don't have a picture of that, but I know you can find it on other videos if you really care about it. The owner's manual. It's all the foam that comes wrapped in. In this little thing was the cleaning cloth, which I'll show you here in a second, but it came with a patch, a sticker, a decal. This is the throw lever package. It comes with an Allen wrench to tighten it, which I have tossed in here somewhere. So I bought that. I think this is a weight bag, or just something to stick underneath the stock, you know, so when you're shooting you can balance your rifle better. Here's the cleaning cloth. It has their logo on it, Arken Optics. Here's the, I think this is for this, the Allen wrench for the zero stop. I thought it was silver. Yeah, maybe it's both. They're probably both the same size. I think they're 2.5 millimeters or 2 millimeter Allen wrenches. They don't actually say on them. This one came for the throw lever. This one came for the zero stop, to set the zero stop. We'll keep that out. And here is the bubble level with also another Allen wrench, maybe the same size, I don't know. And I haven't even opened this yet. So it's aluminum. It says Arken Optics, ultra light, 34 millimeter. I noticed just the different way they've done their level, and the same with their throw levers. I've had other throw levers, I've never seen them have a joint like that. Not that it's bad or anything, I've just never seen it. So kind of cool, something different. So let me get all this out of here. They claim it's 50 BMG proof, and there's a couple people that are testing it that have tested that statement, so I believe it's true. I have not mounted it on a rifle yet. I have rings. I have some loophole rings that I'm going to use for this scope probably. And I'm going to try it out on my 300 PRC. I think that's the rifle I'm going to put it on. The reason why I bought this scope is because I have a Vortex Strike Eagle, which I think is a nice scope, but the turrets are just a little mushy on it. And that's me being picky though. Turrets are mushy, the scope clarity, I can't seem to view the reticle very clear at all. So for the price, I paid $7.99 for that Strike Eagle. And it's a 5-25 by 56. I think this is a 5-25 by 50. Oh, 6-24 by 50 actually. So I had seen the reviews of this coming out of the first generations, and then I heard about the second generation coming and they made some improvements, so I wanted to wait. Waited, I bought this. It took about 3 months from the time I purchased it for it to come to my house, because they got bombarded with orders from everybody else wanting this scope too. So that's understandable. I guess you can't really complain when they're doing well, so that was kind of cool, I think. So I guess I'll kind of show you what I know. I looked through the manual, I've just played with it. I haven't actually done any testing at all. But so far from everything that I've done to the scope, just turning knobs, like this is pretty stiff, it's tight. Just about like all the rest of the scopes that I have that are twice as much or even cheaper. It doesn't feel any different, it's tight. You gotta actually use some force to move this dial, so that's not bad. It's for your ocular lens, I believe. So, and somebody was saying that it could, you know, had some slop up and down, side to side, and mine doesn't have any slop at all. It's very tight. I like that because once you set it, then I don't have to worry about recoil or bumping it, losing my clarity on the reticle. The zoom is actually really smooth. I've never really had one that isn't, I guess. But I think this is easier to turn. Of course, I'm using the throw lever, but without it, it's still, I think it's easier. I have to do it side by side than my Vortexes are. Both of them are so tight, especially in the cold. It's hard to move those things. You got to really grip down on it. So it's just something I always worry about, maybe breaking them if it's too cold. But it feels all right, and I haven't had this out in the cold. That's another thing too, is I've hunted with both of my Vortex scopes. I live in southern or northern Indiana, and we got some cold weather out here. So I think it's a good test for me because I get the hot and the cold. And I went out to Montana with my one Vortex, -13, and I had certain things that I did and didn't like about it in the cold, what happened. But I'll get to those eventually when I do the review side by side of those. But so this turns out right. I don't have any problems with it. I don't have any complaints. I think it's fine. I do like this. I don't know what you want to call it. I can't think of what it's called right now. But it's for basically your parallax knob. This turns probably the easiest out of all the scopes I've ever owned. It turns really easy. I don't know if you can see how well you can see that, but I mean, it's effortless. But it's not to where, you know, you tilt it one way, it runs the other way type deal. It's very nice. It's, you know, it's a solid stop. And I know you can't go by those yardage, you know, is what they say. So like I said, I haven't shot at 100 yards to see if 100 yards is close to the markings or not. I haven't tested this thing at all. So I did have to put a battery in it. I thought it would come with a battery, but it didn't. At least mine didn't. So I don't know if they're supposed to, but I added a battery to it, turned it on, and like the rest of the other videos were saying that I watched on the scope, you can't in daylight tell that that reticle's on even at the brightest 10 power. And all it is just the immediate crosshairs, none of the subtension lines. So it's pretty dim, but I think definitely in the dark, which once again I haven't checked, in the dark it'll be just fine. I'm sure of that actually, but daylight you can't even tell it's on. You just can't, it's just so dim. But it doesn't have to be bright enough for daylight really. But I do like, because my SH4 Gen 2 has the on and off between every single mode setting, brightness mode. This one does that too for a fraction of the price. I like that. I think it needs to be like that in all the scopes. My Vortex Strike Eagle, however, does not have that. You got to turn it all the way back. So it's nice when you have a favorite setting, you can just do it. So that being said, I think it's nitrogen purged. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's argon or nitrogen purged, but this has got this big knob sticking out here, which I know some of my scopes have it, some of them don't. I like the ones that don't have it, but it's not necessarily a make or break thing for me. It's just kind of hideous, I guess, and I don't know if it ever get in the way of mounting on your rail. I doubt it, but it's just there, I guess, and doesn't sit flat. The way I level my scopes sometimes, if I take a piece of ground steel to go parallel off my rail with, that would probably get in the way, but really I don't level them anymore that way. So it should be all right. Now for the turrets, I really like how solid they are. There's so many videos on this. You can always find other people describing it and whatever, but they are very tactile. They're very solid, very definite clicks. Like you don't gotta, like my Strike Eagle Vortex is sloppy enough that you can wonder sometimes if it actually moved. You can feel the thing move, but then it doesn't click sometimes. It does, but you almost have to move it past it to get a click on certain times. I've noticed it, I guess, but it's not all the time. But these are just very, very precise clicks. I really, really like them. One thing I don't like, and it happens a lot, I've seen it on all my really nice scopes and even on this one, you'll set the thing at 0 perfectly, and you'll keep on going, and as you keep on turning, it gets further and further away from being right underneath that mark. Now what I did is I slipped the scales on this cap, this turret, and I put this 0 mark just past that arrow, just a touch, because it just bothers me. So it's actually past it a little bit, that way when I go all the way out to here, it's still right on the money. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, so that stuff like that bothers me. It's not really, I know it's not really big of a deal, but it just bothers me. And honestly, if you were to set it correctly, it almost looks like it's in between both of those subtensions there, the markings. Before I adjust it, you would turn it and it'd be in between after you got out to probably 15 or so minutes of angle. So yeah, then you don't know which one you're on. If it, you know, I mean, if you counted your clicks, then yes, but really you shouldn't have to. You should be able to turn right to 17. It should be dead on 17 no matter what. And that's, I just had to slip my scale a little bit past 0 to get that all the way out in the higher ranges here. Not a big deal, but it's just something that I've seen a lot of other scopes fail at also. Now this turret and this turret feel different when I click them, when I index them. This one here is a little more tighter, almost too tight to where it sounds like it skips. This one here seems like each one is actually grabbing. This one here feels like the spring or whatever it uses, that indent, you know, is almost too tight to where it doesn't have enough flex. It's just skipping over. It's not actually going down and clicking in to the spots for the turret. But I haven't tested it. I'm sure it tracks just fine. Everybody else has had no issues. I did play with these turrets a little bit and slip the scales to 0. This one feels just a touch loose, but it appears to not be. So yeah, it's just a slight. I guess they both have it. But yeah, there's no mush. There's no mush on any of these turrets. I mean, it's exactly what it is. So I got no complaints with that. I like that. I like how when you rev these up, you got that 0 mark. Same on this one. Some of my nice scopes have them, some of them don't. So when you're dialing out, you know, you don't. It's nice, like per se, you don't use the 0 stop. You know that your 0 might be that second line over, you know, or the second line up. So it's just one of those things. It's nice to have an extra reference mark off of. And speaking of 0 stop, mine does not actually work. I will show you here in a second how it's supposed to work. But I may have broke it, I don't know, because I was doing it wrong, so it probably was my fault. It probably did work. I guess I'll say that. I don't know. I did it as the instruction manual said to. But I think part of the issue was I may not have, well, I know I didn't have this set exactly how the manual said to. I kind of got ahead of myself, so I'll say it's my fault. But basically, you're supposed to come up, I think, without looking at the manual, I can't remember. Come up 2 clicks. Loosen this set screw, brass set screw. Run this screw here all the way in, and then back it out just a touch so you don't have tension on it. Well, I didn't back it out just a touch. I just ran it down. Let me just do what I did. I ran it down like that, and I locked it. And then I tried turning it. Well, you're supposed to back it off, I think they say 1/8 or 1/4 turn, just to get the tension off the screw. It's actually not supposed to be touching anything from what I understand. Lock this down, and then you should be able to come to a hard stop. You see how mine's past 0 though, right? Right there's 0. And it comes to a hard stop, but I can get it to move if I actually put some force to it, I can get it to come over, you know, probably half a MOA, you know, half a, yeah. I keep on getting further and further away the more and more I do it. So, but I think I destroyed it. I think it's my fault. I want to call them up and talk to them. But it took so long to get here, I'm also scared to send it out, because to me a zero stop isn't the end of the world to have or not to have. It's a really cool feature, I think, especially when I let other friends borrow my rifles, and some of you guys are probably freaking out because none of you guys ever do that, but I let my friends borrow my rifles when they need to go out on hunts and they want a long-range rifle or something. I have some Magnum calibers, and it's just nice to have it, and I can use them here in Indiana. My friends go up to Peninsula, Michigan, they want to use them. So they shoot a little bit different than I do, but then I know when I get the scope back from them, they don't mess with my zero. I can always go back to my zero and be just fine. And obviously I double check stuff, whatever. But it's just nice to have, especially when somebody else borrows it. I don't got to worry so much about them slipping the scales. But here's how it's supposed to work. You take this off. I just loosen up those 3 set screws. Right there is the screw inside the cap. What it is this isn't supposed to move, from what I understand. Now, I haven't actually seen it on video. I don't know. It might be something even I can fix. I want to contact them first and see what my options are. Yeah, they got an O-ring here to seal the turret. That's kind of cool. But what it looks like to me is there's 3 dowel pins. One there, there. Oh, there's 4 actually. 4 dowel pins. You can see the hole right there. So, and this is all aluminum. You can still index the turret if I get enough grip on it. Right there. Turn that top knob. But anyways, this, I don't think it's supposed to move, because what it is you come to 0, and I think it's supposed to be offset. This bar here is supposed to be offset off this line so much, because when you reference this back to 0, they say to go over 2 clicks, and that would mean that you're putting this screw on the other side of this wedge. So it's probably supposed to be like this. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. So that you're not coming down straight on top of it. You go over 2 clicks to come down. That when you do go to 0, you're hitting that wedge. What I did, and you can see my score marks on there. I don't know if my camera can pick it up. There's a score mark just right there, and it's from when I ran my screw down. I went to turn it, and it turned the entire thing. So what I did is I either broke those loose, and all I got to do is be, you know, turned and beat back in. You know, I don't know. It could be something I could do with a small punch and just be gentle. I don't know if I want to. But yeah, it never worked. I never did it right. I'm guessing it's my fault. So that being said, I want to talk to them, see if I should send it back or not. Or if, to me, I just keep it because I don't want to deal with 3 weeks, 3 months to get it back. And it may not even be like that. Maybe they have really fast turnaround for customer screw-ups. I don't actually know. So I'm just going to set these past 0. Actually, I'll put it right on the money, just to show you guys my turret deal, my little complaint about the turrets. I'm going to index this 0 right on the reference mark. You guys can confirm it with me. I can get this thing to stay. Obviously, you know not to tighten these down too much, I hope. I just barely use any pressure. You got 3 of them locking it in, that's plenty. I think my PST from Vortex, my Gen 2, is the same way. That rifle's actually being borrowed right now, so I don't have it right now to compare the scope. I have my strike eagle here, but I'll do that in another video, especially when I get to shoot the thing. I might do a side-by-side before I shoot this thing, just so you guys can hear the turrets together. But anyways, got the 0 lined up. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I mean, it's perfect. It really is right on the money. So then I go and turn this. I guess I made a liar out of myself. Okay, right there's a good example. It's just slightly off. It's not a big deal, but it is slightly off. Stuff like that bothers me, because then you just don't know which one you're clicking to. You can tell, but the arrows, what it is the bottom arrow is slightly off of the actual line on the inside of the turret housing. Not a big deal. you know, I know how to fool it, I guess. So, yeah. So yeah, the zero stop probably would work if I didn't screw it up. But also another thing to mention is that this reticle is incredibly fine, like very fine. It's more finer than probably any of my scopes. I have to test it, I guess, but when you first look through it, you can actually see it pretty decently on 6 power. There's a couple of my vortex scopes you can't, like they're just so far away, and they're 5 to 25. So maybe because this is a 6, it brings it up that much closer. Maybe that's what all it is. But the 5 to 25 vortex I have, that reticle is so small you can't even see the. You can see the bullseye, like the actual crosshair where they meet. Center, I should say, not bullseye, but this here is a lot easier to see on low power, low zoom, at least in my experience. I can see through it just fine. Crystal clear. I mean, the lenses so far seem to be clear. I haven't actually zoomed all the way in, been out to 300 yards and tried to identify a target. That's something different. We'll get to that eventually. I'm not going to show you through this camera because I don't think it ever does it justice. But the reticle is incredibly fine, and I like that. It doesn't take up a lot of space. There's a little dot to mark the perfect center. Everything's easy to read, easy to understand, I think, you know, but I have experience with this. This is kind of how all my scopes are set up, so I'm just used to it. I don't know if you're somebody different, if it's harder or not, I don't know, but I like the scope, I actually do. For $400, I expected it to compare with my Vortex, so maybe I shouldn't because I don't know yet till I shoot them how well it does, but from what I've seen, handles the recoil just fine. I paid double for all of my Vortex over this thing easily, over double on all of them. So I want to do a side by side to see. I want to see like how the coating is, see if you mount rings to it, if it's gonna scratch it. You know how easy it scratches. So far there's no scratches, but haven't mounted it. I've let a few friends borrow it just to see it, so they've always, you know, they've handled it. It's been handled by different people who knows how well they took care of it, but there's no scratches, no dings, so if they've dropped it, you can't tell. I don't really know. I don't like the scope covers on it. I'm gonna see if I can find something that will fit, whether it be Butler or Vortex. I don't know, but I'm gonna see which ones will fit because I want to get rid of those, get some flip caps. You know, we'll go to the range, we'll shoot it, we'll test it. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great scope. I really, really do. I see that the EP4 has the better glass, is what they're saying. So kind of disappointed because I wanted better glass quality, and I thought this would, the second generation would. And I don't know if they say it on their website or not, but I guess from other reviewers on YouTube are saying that their EP2 or EP4, whatever it's called, has the better glass out of these. Even this one's being the second generation. So, but that being said, because glass quality is important to me when I'm shooting long range, I'm trying to get into precision shooting, and I'm not trying very hard. I'm just trying to slowly get out to 1,000 yards, you know, maybe do some mile shots eventually someday. I don't really know yet where it's going to take me. It's just a little bit here and there. Ammo is so hard to find. I'm not shooting really anything, but just doing some dry fire practice. But yeah, I like the scope a lot. I think it's going to be a winner. I just need to go out and test it and try it. I am going to contact these guys first and see what to do about the zero stop, whether it's as simple as me taking a punch, beating those 3 pins in, or if it's got to be set in a specific way, and I'm sure it does. Have to send it back. You know, I'll find out before I take my other scope off my rifle and mount this one, just in case I got to send it back or something. So that's it. It's just a quick overview, I guess, really, of what comes with it. How well it feels. I don't know what the thing weighs. I can probably do all the specs when I do my Vortex scope review. I don't know if it gives me a weight here or not. It doesn't have a weight that I see. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but it's a first focal plane rifle scope. So that's why all my other Vortexes are so much more, is they're all first focal plane also. You always got to pay premium for that, basically. So this one coming in at half the price is kind of cool. And I can't complain because really, if it does work as everybody else's has, without the zero stop, it's still worth $400 in my opinion for everything. So we'll see. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I will try to address them. The battery cap is sealed with an O-ring actually. I forgot to mention that, but it is, so it's waterproof. You know, we'll see. how everything goes over time. But if you guys have any questions, please ask them, and I will mount it on my rifle. We'll get to shooting eventually once I contact these people and find out what I got to do to fix it. And then if it's worth fixing to me or not, you know, we'll go from there. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to have more videos coming up. I've just been really busy lately. So I got a lot of content that I want to upload. I got a lot of video ideas. So it's just a matter of time and making the time, really. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll keep you updated for more of this scope and my other scope side-by-side comparisons on the Strike Eagle and on the SH4 Gen 2. And I got a couple of rifle scopes that are cheaper than this, that we can see how they compare against a cheaper rifle scope. And I might even do some gun reviews eventually. So we'll see you guys later.